Hey all, welcome to our lesson on adding drop shadows to lace. Now, lace is very difficult to add a drop shadow to because it's got a lot of transparency to it. And so adding a drop shadow can make your lace look a lot darker, especially if you've got white lace, which is very common. And so I have here the final layout with the lace. I've zoomed in and I'm going to take off the drop shadow so that by using the invisibility mode so that you can see what a difference having the drop shadow makes. We are currently in Photoshop Elements. This is version 11, can be done in any version of Photoshop Elements, but I'm also going to switch over to Photoshop after this to show you how much easier it is to do in the full version of Photoshop. So I'm going to turn off this drop shadow layer, and I have, this is the products on here were from Natalie Design. She's at Scrapbook Graphics. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control J to duplicate my lace layer, and I'm going to hit the invisibility mode on the first one. I do that often in my tutorials and often in the way I scrap, because this one that's invisible is just kind of a backup in case I goof up. I can delete what my goof up is and have another version there easily without having to bring it in and reposition it again. So let's go ahead and add a drop shadow. I was starting with the low drop shadow, and you can see it's way too dark. Look how it's made that lace so much darker. But I'm going to go ahead and play with the layer style options, clicking on the FX to bring up the style settings. And it's too high to be realistic. Yours might be this high, depending on your layout and your piece of lace, but my piece of lace is like laying right on that wood that is my background, so it's not going to be so high up off the page. So I'm going to simply kind of lower the distance and the size a tad bit, and I've even gotten to where I like to lower the opacity on almost everything. Um, Here we can see the before and the after. We're looking pretty good. I lower the opacity on almost all of mine. I didn't used to do that when I first started scrapping, but I really prefer it. So I'm going to click OK. So we have our drop shadow on there, but now we have to do another step because this, if you look, let's go back here. Let's turn on these two. So here is those two and the way they look, and here is the one with the drop shadow. You can see it's darkened the lace up, and so we have to do a few more steps to put that drop shadow on its own layer and to knock out the holes out of the drop shadow. And so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to hit Control J and copy this again. And this is what you have to do in Photoshop Elements since you don't have a quick, easy way to put a drop shadow on its own layer. So the top one is just going to be my lace itself, and the bottom one is going to be the shadow. So for the lace itself, I'm going to go ahead and right click and clear that layer style. And I'm going to go ahead and just temporarily turn it off. Now the bottom one is going to be my drop shadow. Click on the FX to open up that layer style again, and just go right out here on your desktop, click down on the shadow and drag it off to the right. I have another tutorial on doing this. This is just a great application for it. Click OK, and now I'm going to right click and simplify. That's important. And then I'm going to get rid of the lace itself. And so I've got my rectangular marquee tool, and I'm just going to kind of make a box around it and hit the delete key on. Whoops. What in the world? Oh, didn't I simplify? I didn't simplify. Oh, that's strange. Okay, see what happens when you don't simplify? I thought I had. Did we go through that step? Okay, now I've got my marching ants, and I'm going to delete the lace, and you see that my, and then Control D to deselect. And you can see here now I just have the shadow left. And so I'm going to kind of move my shadow over here in place and turn back on. Oh, see, I have them locked. Yeah, I had them chained together because I had them positioned, and so when I moved the lace over, the shadow lace over, it also moved the lace itself over. So what I'm going to do is kind of put them on top of each other, but I'm going to hold down my Control key and click on both of the layers in the layers palette, so they're both active layers. And with the Move tool as the active tool, I'm going to go down here and click Align Center and Align Middle and Top, however you want to do it. Now I'm going to just click on the shadow one because you don't want them absolutely lined up, and I'm just going to hit my right arrow key and kind of move it over just a tad, once or twice. So we have them lined up, but then there's one more step that we're going to do. And so I'm going to hold down my Control key, and on the thumbnail of the lace layer, I'm going to click and get marching ants of the lace. But my active layer is the shadow layer. And so with that layer active, I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard, and it's going to delete everything within the holes. Well, not within the holes, but within on the white area. So I kind of said that wrong. So any shadow that is below the white of the lace is being deleted. Control D, and now I'm going to make the lace invisible. So you can see here's my shadow, and I have deleted everything that on the shadow that's under the lace. It looks kind of funny. And now you can see it leaves the lace nice and white and clean where it should be, and allows the drop shadow to be where it should be. So we're going to look at this in the full version of Photoshop, and you'll see how much easier and faster and fewer steps. But it's great to know that you can do this in Photoshop Elements also. So here we are in the full version of Photoshop CC, Creative Cloud, and we're going to do the same thing, and you're going to see how much easier it is in this program. So here is that layout and the before and the after with the shadow, and we're going to recreate it. So I am going to unchain these. And just as before, Control J to duplicate, so I got something different to work on. I'm going to add a basic drop shadow that I have, that I use often. And you can see that's not too bad, but I'm going to click on that FX, and I'm going to lower it because, as we talked about, it needs to be a little bit closer to the page. So I'm going to click OK. And then the key is to go ahead and right click down here on the drop shadow and choose Create Layer. Now that takes that layer style off of this layer and puts it on a layer below. There it is. And it's already lined up right where it needs to be. So all that other stuff that we did in Photoshop Elements, you don't have to do here. At this point, all you have to do is Control click on the thumbnail. And I don't know why my thumbnails are so small. They didn't used to be. They're large. They look so funny. Okay, so we clicked on the thumbnail to get the marching ants. I'm going to make sure that the shadow layer is the active layer, and I'm going to hit the delete key on that shadow so that the shadow is not anywhere where there is white, where it might show through, and it's only in the holes. It looks so funny, but it works so well. And it keeps the color of the lace nice and white. And that's all you have to do in the full version of Photoshop.